Hey YouTube, this is basically an unofficial part 2 to my Legacy Black and Gold Megazord review and comparison, and in this video I'm going to be showing all the combinations you can have when you put the Legacy Black and Gold Megazord with the Legacy Titanus and the Legacy Dragonzord. I'm going to show every combination and every which way you can combine these three Zords together, so without further ado, let's get it started. Now, before I get ahead of myself, I neglected to put this Zord into tank mode in the last video, so I'm rectifying that right now. I'm showing you the way to combine the Zord with itself, basically, to put it into tank mode. If you've never seen tank mode, it's when in the show all the Zords combine before turning into the Megazord. When they're in their 5 separate states, they combine into this mode, which is called tank mode, and then from there they transform into the Megazord. It seemed a little weird that they did it every time, but oh well, this is what tank mode looks like, and now that I'm actually done piecing it together, I can show you what all the sides look like. One of the first things I noticed with this Zord in tank mode is that it looks like one solid Zord. I think that's because of the black and gold color scheme, as opposed to having 5 separate colors that all kind of stand out against each other. This looks like one solid Zord that has an alternate mode, as opposed to 5 Zords that can be crammed into each other into a weird hodgepodge of Dragonzords, if that makes any sense. Because of the color scheme, it looks more uniform, and it makes it look like one solid Zord in a different mode as opposed to 5 Zords in an odd angle. And now that we have the Megazord's alternate mode out of the way, I'm going to show you one of the 2 possible combinations you can make with the Dragonzord and the Megazord. This combination being Dragonzord Battle Mode. If you don't know what that is, it's when you combine the Dragonzord, the Mastodon, the Saber-Tooth Tiger, and the Triceratops together, excluding the Tyrannosaurus and the Pterodactyl, to make Dragonzord Battle Mode, and that's what this mode is. There is another mode you can also make, and that is Mega Dragonzord, but that is not yet happening. It'll be the next one you'll see. There are 2 things that I wanted to say before showing you the full Dragonzord Battle Mode, and the first one being that I love pushing this little face mask down. I don't know why, it was always my favorite part about building this Zord back in the day, and I still enjoy it now. And the other thing is, the tail sword is huge. It is ridiculously big. It's around 2 feet tall right now, but can actually get bigger if you extend the joints so that the tail is flexible. I don't know why it's so big. I like it. It looks really cool. But for showing you the Dragonzord Battle Mode, I'm actually going to take the tail away because it's really big and I can't get a close-up on the Zord if it's there. And without the tail sword, the Zord actually isn't that big. It's about the same size as the Legacy Megazord. It may be an inch higher because of the fin on top, or scale, whatever you want to call it, on top of the Dragonzord's head that's actually standing straight up. That's the only thing that really makes it any taller than the regular Zord would be. It is slightly more front heavy because how you see the Zord's feet kind of roll up into itself on the Dragonzord, those are actually metal and die cast, so they're very heavy, and it tends to make the Zord lean forward, and there isn't much weight to the back of a Legacy Megazord, so it does lean forward a lot actually. And though they aren't included with the Dragonzord, there are knee clips that you get if you buy Titanus, so that it doesn't fall out of Titanus, because once you add other stuff to it, it gets even heavier and even heavier. It gets more top heavy and more front heavy, and I don't know why they did it, but it's really unbalanced once you put it in Titanus, and you'll actually see that later. And speaking of Titanus, this is the mode you're going to want to put it in before you start to combine it with Titanus, and this is Mega Dragonzord. And if you don't know what the Mega Dragonzord is, it's basically when you crack the Dragonzord open like a nut and then take the shell of it and just kind of drape it over the Megazord. There's a clip in the back that helps it stay up a little bit, which is actually very tricky to get. I did get it on my first try though, but it doesn't actually stay all that well on top of a Dragonzord. It makes it really top heavy, end heavy, and front heavy, which all aren't very good things. The only thing you can really use to balance it is the tail sword. Once again, I'm showing the Mega Dragonzord with the tail sword in front of it. I'm going to remove it later to show you a close-up of the Zord like I did when I put the Dragonzord into battle mode, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like as a complete package. It looks really nice, but it is very unstable, so please be careful if you do decide to put it in this mode. Now personally, I do prefer the Dragonzord battle mode to the Mega Dragonzord, but only because of how unstable the Mega Dragonzord is. If you look at it from the side, which you'll see here, you can see how unevenly weighted it is. There's no weight to the back of it, and then all the die-cast parts of the Dragonzord are to the top and the front of the Megazord, which makes it horribly unevenly weighted and very prone to falling. And if you drop something like this, it's not that sturdy, even though there are metal parts. The plastic parts within the metal parts will break very easily, and I don't want to destroy about $200. And if you do get the Titanus, you can use these leg clips in there, which I suggest you do, but I don't know why those weren't included with the Dragonzord to begin with.
And now it is time to make the Ultrazord.
And if you don't know, the Ultrazord is basically the most over-the-top combination you can make. It's when you combine the Mega Dragonzord with Titanus, and it looks beast, but it is very unstable. Titanus is on wheels. As you can see, I have the wheels taped so it doesn't go rolling off, because then there's like $400 down the drain right there. But it is very unevenly weighted. It does look sick though. It's just you gotta balance it right, otherwise you're gonna lose all your Megazords that you spent so much money on because they're legacy and diecast and high quality and whatnot. It's just, they're very fragile, and I really don't want to lose them, so I am very cautious with doing this. I actually keep my 2010 non-legacy version inside Titanus, so that if it does fall, I lose the $60 version of the Zord, as opposed to the $80 to $100 version. And now for the closer look, it does look amazing. It looks really good. It's actually so big my camera couldn't focus on the entire thing at once, and if I turn it to the side, you can see how truly long it is. But I guess, you know, it's not that big, but once you put the Dragonzord tail on it, it does get a little ridiculous in size. It's actually hard to keep the Dragonzord's tail up. It doesn't really like its own weight, and it kind of falls a lot. But this is by far my favorite mode to put these three Zords in, just because of how amazing it was to see this shit happen in the show, and it like blew my mind as a kid. And if you want to know why I didn't show just the Megazord without Titanus, it is because it is completely unstable, and it's impossible to have this thing stand up on its own, and in the process of doing so, the entire Zord basically collapsed. So I gave up on trying to record just that. I was trying to do it, but it wouldn't stand if it wasn't in Titanus. And I couldn't think of a better way to end this video than with a sick 3/4 profile shot of the Ultra Zord, because it looks so sick. My next video is going to be a retro review of the Shogun Zord, and if you have any requests for Megazords you want to see, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And if you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe, because it's free, it's fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.